The modern truck market may seem to be all about high-tech, fuel-efficient, and capable powertrains, but the reality is that some of the most advanced hybrid pickups are finding themselves gathering dust on dealer lots. These electrified giants are failing to gain traction in a market that turns out to be too resistant to adopt to new technologies. We've found 3 hybrid pickup trucks that dealers can't sell this year for obvious reasons. Let's take a closer look. Number 3. Toyota Tundra Hybrid. We start out the list with the Toyota Tundra Hybrid, which may sound surprising to some. Namely, the Japanese automaker announced a 27% increase in sales in 2024, but things haven't been all that great lately. Last month, the electrified Tundra recorded a massive 50% drop in sales, with the Japanese automaker being able to sell no more than 1,686 examples of the electrified Tundra. We have no doubt that Toyota officials are disappointed with these figures. So what's the reason behind the Tundra Hybrid's slow sales? On paper, this seems like an amazing powertrain, a perfect fit for a full-size pickup truck like this. The max output goes all the way up to 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque, which is plenty enough to ensure 0 to 60 in just 5.5 seconds. Clearly, the Tundra Hybrid offers remarkable acceleration, but Toyota lovers still felt a bit disappointed once they realized that the fuel economy wasn't at the level we typically see on Toyota hybrids. The official ratings are 20 mpg city and 24 mpg highway, and these are definitely not bad numbers. Still, most of us expected more, especially when we consider that the gas-only version is pretty close, offering 18 mpg city and 24 mpg highway. Many of us believe that this minor difference in fuel economy isn't enough to justify the price difference, especially when you take into account the max towing capacity. On one hand, you have the gas-only version that can tow up to a quite respectable 12,000 pounds. On the other, the more expensive hybrid version is good for up to 11,450 pounds. And the price gap is definitely too big. The gas-only Tundra is available at around $42,000, which seems like a fair price considering everything it offers in return. On the other hand, not only that the hybrid powertrain is generally more complex and therefore more expensive, but it's more exclusive in the way that it's reserved for upper trims only. As a result, the cheapest Tundra Hybrid comes pretty close to $60,000, which is simply way too much for typical Tundra clientele and common full-size truck buyers in general. But still, we can't say that it's a bad truck. Quite the opposite. It's a great piece of technology. The only problem is that it doesn't encompass enough customers for greater commercial success. However, if it fits your budget, you definitely won't go wrong with an electrified Tundra. Besides excellent driving dynamics, it has many other great things to offer. Since it's reserved for upper trim levels, you get a well-equipped truck with loads of convenience features. For example, the larger 14-inch infotainment screen is standard, just like goodies like synthetic upholstery, leather-wrapped steering wheel, memory settings, heated and ventilated seats, dual-zone climate control, and power tailgate. None of these are standard in the gas-only Tundra. And the good thing is that Tundra hybrids are piling at dealer lots, which means that if you have good negotiation skills, there's a big chance to get a pretty good deal on these, with attractive financing or even some pretty good discounts. Number 2. Ford F-150 Hybrid. The last time Ford reported about a decline was in March last year, but even though we've been hearing all kinds of stories about growth in the last couple of months, facts tell a different story. And the fact is that the current market day supply is over 120 days. That means that dealers still have trouble with selling the electrified F-150 and that they're rather collecting dust on the lots. Now, is this because the Blue Oval Company produced too many of these? Could be. But one way or another, there are way too many F-150 hybrids on lots because the sales are nowhere near expected. And why this particular version of the world's most popular truck can't meet expectations? Well, there are numerous reasons. The most obvious one is, of course, the price. Just like in the case of the Tundra, the hybrid powertrain is reserved for the upper trims only. Not so long ago, the electrified F-150 was available in the XL 4x2 Super Crew, priced at $46,000. But things changed drastically with the current model year. So getting the F-150 hybrid would now cost you probably around $70,000, if not even more. For those in the market for a new truck, that's simply way too much, even though there are a few benefits worth mentioning. For example, the max output is rated at 430 horsepower and 570 pound-feet of torque, which is almost as much as the Tundra Hybrid with a similar level of performance. Moreover, the fuel economy is actually better compared to Toyota's hybrid truck and goes up to 22 mpg city and 24 mpg highway. Still, for many, that doesn't seem like much of a difference compared to certain gas-only variants. Certainly not much to justify the massive price gap. As you may presume, the overall capability is at a lower level compared to gas-only versions. For example, the max towing capacity is 12,700 pounds compared to 13,000 pounds of the gas-powered model. While that may not seem like a massive gap, the difference are way more drastic when it comes to the max payload. Gas-only models are good for up to 2,445 pounds, while on the other hand, the max capacity of the hybrid is just 1,740 pounds. Altogether, we could say that high price, lower towing capacity, significantly lower payload capacity, and just marginally better fuel efficiency are the key reasons for the lack of interest in this F-150. But there's more. The F-150 hybrid is awfully unreliable, and if you don't trust us, just take a look at what Consumer Reports says about it. Considering that for 3 consecutive years, this truck ended at the bottom of Consumer Reports' reliability list. Still, it's not like all things about this hybrid truck are bad. Yes, it may be a bit pricey, but it also offers a lot in return. Besides impressive power and torque, it also comes loaded with standard equipment. While we particularly like those onboard power outlets that let you power a job site, campsite, or even your house. Moreover, Blue Cruise 1.2 works great and is certainly one of the best semi-autonomous driving systems around. Number 1. Ram 1500 eTorque. Ram has just redesigned its full-size pickup truck for this year, but it seems like things are not going as planned, at least in terms of sales numbers. All those novelties didn't help much because sales have been going downwards for a while. According to the most recent data, year-over-year changes are nearly 20% down, and a lot of this lack of sales is on the eTorque's account. Because this redesign hasn't changed what needed to be changed the most. Ram discontinued the Hemi V8, and now everyone's perfectly aware that this was a huge mistake because traditional customers are not exactly fans of the new turbo inline 6. More importantly, this truck was in desperate need of a more capable base engine, which didn't come. Instead, the new model still relies on a familiar 3.6-liter V6 Pentastar engine, which comes in a combination with a small electric motor that doesn't move the wheels, but rather serves to improve efficiency and add more torque and lower RPMs. The actual output, on the other hand, remains unchanged, so the base Ram 1500 is rated at 305 horsepower and a quite underwhelming 269 pound-feet of torque. Rivals are simply better. Not only that, both the F-150 and Silverado 1500 feature notably lower starting prices, and in return, they come with Turbo 4 engines with similar power but significantly more torque, providing a smoother and more convenient ride, along with better work capabilities and superior low-end throttle response. Simply, rivals seem like they're giving more in return for your money. They're cheaper, more powerful, and more capable, so not even a fairly decent fuel economy of 20 mpg city and 26 mpg highway seems enough to attract as many customers as Ram officials probably expected. But to be honest, not all things about the Ram 1500 eTorque are bad. It may not be the peppiest pickup truck around, but on the other hand, it offers class-leading ride quality thanks to the multi-link rear suspension setup. Moreover, you get arguably the nicest cabin in the class, which looks quite luxurious even in the most basic variants. Soft-touch materials, a long list of standard features, and some really nice tech goodies come even in entry-level variants. So if performance and work capabilities don't play such a significant role in your playbook, this may actually be a great choice, especially now when sales are slow and dealer lots are full of models that sit for months to be sold. With good negotiation skills, you can seal a pretty attractive deal relatively easy. So make sure to check dealer lots before the Hemi V8 comes back and the Ram 1500 becomes popular again. Thanks for watching and see you next time.